All right, everyone. Welcome to Zog's Minimalist Bullet Journal Flip Through, March 2021 edition. So, this is the first bullet journal video I've ever made before. I hope that it's fun for you all. This is, however, my third year bullet journaling. I first started in 2019. And since then, I've found it so helpful to my daily life organization that I wanted to start sharing my spreads with you all. I've always kind of wanted to be a part of the bullet journal community, but I never really thought my spreads were good enough or cute enough. But now that I have a few years of experience under my belt, I feel like I have something to offer you guys. So, let's start with the flip through. So first off, before we dive into the journal, let's talk supplies. So for this month's spread, I'm using the Artist's Point bullet journal in this lovely teal, as well as the Stablio .88 fine liner marker in kind of a goldeny yellow color. I like that one for details. Very good for a gold. And the other two colors that I highlighted this month were both from the Zebra Mild Liner pack. And the Zebra Mild Liners are in the shades blue-green and red. Also, the pen I was using to ink my journal this month is the U Brands Soft Touch Catalina felt tip pens. I actually really like those pens. I just found them when I was out at the store one day. I found them at Target actually, and I was surprised at the quality. I actually really like these U brand pens for my bullet journals because it's a very smooth sort of felt tip pen experience. Also, the body is very soft. The colors are very beautiful, and I love the little golden accents. It just adds a little something extra, I think. Alright, so as you guys can see, here is the title page for my March 2021. Truth be told, when I started drawing this, I wasn't really sure exactly what I had in mind, except that I wanted it to be kind of maybe something kind of curly, a little bit strange, almost like an odd Parisian feel or something like that. I decided that I wanted to let the colors really carry the weight of this bullet journal. So I just used the large color blocks of the red, which looks a little bit pink, which I think is quite nice, and the seafoamy green. So seafoam green, corally pinky red, and golds were the colors of the month. This minimalist title page seemed to create itself, and I had a lot of fun letting it do its thing. There was a subtle strangeness and simplicity to what I created in March, and it's different than anything I've made before, so I had a lot of fun with it. The beginning of March was a bit rough for me, so even though I did keep track, I have a daily tracker that's kind of a separate journal. So I did my daily tracker, but I was lagging a little bit on the actual weekly spread section of my journal for the first week. So in order to account for that missing time, I wrote this little poem and drew this little welcome drawing. A week of struggle, a week of surrender. I made some decisions, or some decisions made me. A skeleton drawn for 2021, an invigorated beginning, a beginning well done. welcome. Alright, so here's a little example of the weekly spread that I ended up doing. I hadn't fully filled this out just because I just wanted to keep all of the details of what I've been working on a little more private. But here's the general mock-up of how I did my weekly overviews for the month. And it's kind of a style that I've been doing for a couple of months now that I found that I really like. So I'll probably continue to do this weekly overview in this style for now until I find something better. But basically I create a section at top for my daily tracker. I can fill that out once I've filled out my tracker for the day. I have my Instagram and website and other things that I need to get done. And also, if I need to, and I do tend to do this, I will split the boxes in half or whatever I need just to add another section. Like for example, I have a YouTube section that I added where I could put all my YouTube goals there every week as well. Then down at the bottom, a little section for notes, just to kind of keep me on track, keep me focused. If I have anything I need to write down, I can just put it there as like a weekly overview note. One fun thing that I did do this month, which I haven't done in every month, is I wanted to get a little bit more of a personal touch in there. So I left a section on every single day for just a sentence or a line that I could write to kind of just put something creative, write down my thoughts or feelings for the day. And I put that kind of above the area where I would put the rest of my check boxes, my to-dos for the day. I found this addition to be a nice little inspirational, fun addition, and I wanted to read to you guys all of my daily thoughts, just to maybe give you some ideas and see how maybe you can add little moments of value to your day, little thoughts that guide you along or keep you going. So for Monday the 8th, I wrote, "I am true to myself." A good reminder. Monday the 9th, suspending the feeling. Now, as you may have noticed, I wrote down Monday twice. Now this was an accident, but because I had already written it down in pen, there wasn't really any going back on that, now was there? So the next day, I had a choice to either try and fix it somehow or lean into it. And that's how the second week of March turned into the week of Monday. Monday the 10th. Bloom like an unexpected avocado seed. So there's actually a story to this one. I called my grandmother. She's in a nursing home and I hadn't spoken with her in a while. And she had tried to get in touch with me and I'd missed her call, so I was returning her call that day. And that day she told me this very charming story about how she had an orchid that had died. But she kept the roots of the orchid in a pot and she ended up just putting a couple avocado pits in there just for fun, just to see what would happen. And sure enough, after a few days or weeks of watering her plants every single day, she started to get a sprout. She thought it was the orchid, but turns out it was actually the avocado seed. Her story very much charmed me. And it got me thinking about how sometimes we get watering things and something else grows than we were expecting. Monday the 11th. I am a creative entrepreneurial entity. I'm not sure where I got that phrasing from. I can't remember if I made it up or not, but it was a good reminder to myself that that is what I am. A CEE. Creative entrepreneurial entity. Monday the 12th. Momentum is more important than sequence. Just keep building it up. And eventually, maybe the dominoes will fall in perfect order. All right, the next section that I have written is Monday the 15th. And the message there is, don't forget, Buddha was a prince. Now this is an interesting idea because we think of Buddha as he's this wonderful figure, very enlightened. But he was a prince. The only way that he was able to reach his enlightened state was because he had the time and the space and the money to do so. It's a good reminder that sometimes these immense figures from history had a little help in building their immensity. Tuesday the 16th. I have an aptitude for making desirable discoveries unintentionally. Serendipity. So that was me exploring the definition of the word serendipity. To make desirable discoveries unintentionally. And how I feel like that's an energy found in me. Maybe. Wednesday the 17th, aka St. Patrick's Day. It was a holiday today, but the work passed it by. I have a secondary note that I actually wrote on this one underneath my check boxes for the day. A personal issue reaches resolution, it says. I was very busy editing that day, and I didn't even realize it was a holiday until 9:30. And at that point, no green beer was being had because I was already pooped from editing all day. So I just called it a night and celebrated the next day instead. Because a holiday doesn't tell me when to have fun. Thursday the 18th. Sometimes you must slow down to heal. Good advice. I hurt myself running this month a couple of weeks ago, and it slowed me down a bit, so it was a good reminder to keep myself from getting too antsy. Weekend, 19 through 21. The birds are back. My heart's awake. This was the morning that I really noticed the birds singing again. They flew around my balcony and chirped and landed, and it was charming, and I knew that it was spring again. Monday, the 22nd. Soft witchcraft. Explore that. Now, I think I was actually watching a YouTube video from a witchy tuber. I can't remember the exact detail of what that meant to her, but this idea of soft witchcraft, of this gentle side to magic. I wanted to explore that more, this idea of like fairy dust spirituality and how maybe it gets a little bit of the brunt of harsh reality some days. But how maybe a little bit of softness is all we really need. Tuesday, the 23rd. Holding the moment, building with it. Holding the moment, building with it. Hold and build, hold and build, hold and build. Wednesday, the 24th. A breakthrough is coming. As long as you're resilient, it will work out. This is a good reminder for me Because really, what makes the difference in succeeding is resiliency. I needed that little reminder that day that a breakthrough is coming. Just hang on, stay. Thursday, the 25th. Thinking of my past self. I will not let her efforts down. Now, this was a day when I was a little bit down on myself, not being exactly where I wish I would be. And I had to stop and remind myself of all that I've been through, the traumas, the stress, the work, the effort, the pain. So much of it that I have carried myself through. The torture that I have carried myself through to get to where I am now. To remember that. To not let all of my past effort rot. Friday the 26th. Focus is choosing the right thought. It's the idea of neuro-linguistic programming, of changing your mindsets. Focus is choosing the right thought and going with it. Weekend 27th through 28th. A little bit commercial, a little bit spiritual. This was me kind of musing over the kind of person I want to be, the kind of content creator, the kind of creative entrepreneur. And I thought to myself, a little bit of both worlds sounds about right for this girl. And the final entry for Monday the 29th, Tuesday the 30th, and Wednesday the 31st. This section got its own special overflow page, since it didn't fit perfectly with the rest of the weeks. And the message here is, what is true spontaneity? True inspiration. I got a message that day that I should be a little more spontaneous, do some things without planning them, have fun. And it occurred to me that I don't even know exactly what that is for me, or what that even feels like. I get so caught up and serious in planning and trying to get it right that there's a part of me that doesn't even know how to be spontaneous at the moment. What is spontaneity? If any of you have any tips for this poor, sad, lacking spontaneity being, leave them in the comments. I would love to hear them. Until then, I will keep seeking out what it is to engage in spontaneity and inspiration, and what the connection is between them, if there even is one. Seems like there is. I feel like there's some connection you can make between spontaneity and inspiration. A little bit of that follow your heart thing, I suppose. All right, my loves, thank you very much for going through this with me. I hope that you had some fun, maybe got some inspiration, a little relaxation. And here is a preview for next month. It's a more deliberately chosen theme than for March of 2021. So here's a little hint. Can you guess what it is? Just by looking? Here's a little hint. The caption beneath the umbrella reads, "When it rains, it pours." You got it. The Morton Salt Girl. I've been doing some research and learned some very interesting lore about this Morton Salt girl, and the art very much inspired me for April. Really how it happened is I finished a canister of Morton Salt, but rather than throwing the canister away, I cut out the Morton Salt girl instead to add as a scrap piece for my multimedia bullet journal for April. Alright guys, thanks for your attention and stay tuned for more eclectic content from your Sam Zog. More bullet journal content on the way, as well as other art, storytelling, and random videos for those of you who wish to follow me. Alright guys, until next time, here's to new beginnings, and a beginning well done.